Hare Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Lokam karoti vacharam, pangum langhayate girim, yat kripatamaham vande, Shri Guru Dinataranam, Paramananda Madhavam, Shri Chaitanya Ishwaram. Hari Om Tat Sat. So today we are going to learn about some very few glories of Mahaprabhu, because his glories are unlimited. Just as a bird cannot fly across the whole of sky, it flies only as much as its ability is. Similarly, the glories of Mahaprabhu are unlimited, and any devotee or any acharya, they cannot completely do the justification to his glories, because Mahaprabhu is Sri Krishna himself, and Sri Krishna is unlimited. So when acharyas can't do that, who are we? We will try to talk a little bit about Mahaprabhu's glories. So then we'll start with Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare. So we are going to talk about Mahaprabhu, basically little bit of everything. His teachings are very, very important. We can try to cover those, but based on that, based on those teachings, we'll do one pastime so that we know, we can learn what his teaching. You know, it's easier when you connect it with a story format for any teaching. So we'll try to do that. But before that, we'll talk a little bit about his appearance. So once in 8,640,000,000 years, Lord Krishna comes in this universe, and he came just 5,000 years ago. So we can understand, of those billions and millions of years, 5,000 years is nothing. So we are very, very fortunate in that regard. And sometimes, not every time, after Lord Krishna comes, he decides to come again as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, because he's thinking that everybody is worshipping him and is going to Vaikuntha, but he wants to open the door so that people can have a chance to go back to Goloka Vrindavan. For that, Mahaprabhu appeared in the holy land of India, and Srila Prabhupada appeared. This was predicted in by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Prithvi etyache yata nagaradi gram sarvatra prachar hoibe mora naam. So when he said that, he meant everywhere. Prithvi is the whole world. So when Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Maharaj chose Srila Prabhupada, he met him for the first time, and in the very first meeting, he told Srila Prabhupada that you are an educated young man, you can speak English, you should go to the Western countries and spread this movement. So Srila Prabhupada, and his, actually that time when he decided that he wants to do that, he was in Vrindavan. So his few of his godbrothers and the Vrajavasis, they told him it's okay, you know, when Mahaprabhu said Prithvi Ate, he meant the civilized India, not the whole world. But Srila Prabhupada said Prithvite means the whole world, and my Guru Maharaj wants me to do it. So he decided to take a, you know, it was a big risk at the age of 69 with just 40 rupees in his hand in a cargo ship facing 2 heart attacks. What was the need? But this shows his surrender to his Guru, because his spiritual master asked him to do it. He took that as an instruction, and he took that instruction to his heart. It is because of Srila Prabhupada that we are hearing all this today. So now coming back to Mahaprabhu, you know, Sachi Mata is the mother of Mahaprabhu. Jagannath Mishra is the father. His brother was Vishwarup. He had 2 wives, Lakshmi Priya and Vishnu Priya. So now when Sachi Mata, so Vishwarup was his older brother, and he used to hear the pastimes of Krishna and all Krishna Katha from Advaita Acharya. And Advaita Acharya used to have classes of Srimad Bhagavatam every morning. That's where Vishwarup would go and hear about the pastimes, about the Leela of the Lord. So one time when our little Nimai, he grew up and Vishwarup was late, so Mother Sachi sent him to get his brother so that they could honor prasadam. Now when this little boy Nimai, he went to call his brother, he told his brother that, come on, let's go and have lunch. Everybody present there had the attention of the little boy. Everybody was looking at him, and what was so unusual, it was just a small boy. But because we know, just as when the soul leaves a body, the body is pretty much a lump of matter. It's useless. It's only the soul that makes the presence of the soul that makes the body attractive. And this little boy was the soul of souls. So everybody was attracted to him. Every single person had his head turned towards Nimai when he first asked his brother to come. And then this became a routine. And everybody was very, very attracted and used to love when Nimai would come. So then Nimai started playing outside the classes. The classes were being held. He would just, when he would wait for his brother to come, he would just be outside and he would be playing. He was very little then. So one time it so happened that Advaita Acharya, he said something very amazing, and all the devotees started chanting, Hari Bol, Hari Bol. And there Nimai came running inside the class. And everybody asked him, yes, what can we do for you, little boy? He said, you called for me. And they said, no, we did not call for you. Little did they know that Mahaprabhu is the Hari Bol that they were calling out to. So then Nimai said, okay. And then he went out again. Then what happened was, actually, Krishna, he did everything. When he appeared, Krishna did everything in open. He swallowed the forest fire. He lifted the Govardhan. He killed the demons. He did not hide anything. But Mahaprabhu, he also did all the Leelas, wonderful, miraculous feats, but they were hidden because he was a Chan avatar. He was the hidden avatar. So he was, he was coming as a devotee. And if people would call him Krishna, then he would cover his ears and he would say, no, Vishnu, Vishnu, Vishnu. He didn't want to hear himself being addressed as the Supreme Lord because he came as a devotee of the Lord to teach us how to become a devotee of the Lord and how to serve the Lord. So this was a very unique situation. There were pure devotees who knew in the heart of their hearts that he is Krishna, but he kept himself very hidden. In very few cases, he did show that he was the Supreme Lord. Like, one time there was a Brahmana who was taking bath in the river Ganges. And he was actually, that time he was doing Gayatri, and he observed that the waters of river Ganges were going up and down and up and down. And he was wondering, what is this? He was an ardent devotee of Mother Ganges from his childhood. And he was wondering that why Ganges water is going up and down. And when he finished his Gayatri and he looked over and he saw that there was this little boy, and the waters of Ganges were trying to reach up to his lotus feet as if they wanted to touch the lotus feet of the little boy. And this Brahmana was wondering what's going on. And then when he further continued observing what was happening, he actually saw Mother Ganges, the personification of Mother Ganges, come out of the waters and pay obeisances to the Lord and then go back in the waters. And he was amazed. He was astonished. He was like, because he was a very pure devotee of Mother Ganges. So he knew that Mother Ganges would not offer obeisances to anybody but Lord Vishnu. So he was wondering who this little boy is. So he went and he told he told the little boy, who are you? Can you please tell me? And then Nimai showed his Krishna form to this Brahmana and told him that you can stay here and see my pastime, see my leelas, but dare not tell anybody who I am, because if you do, I'll have to remove you. So there were very few devotees like this who were aware of who Mahaprabhu actually was. Now, one time he was like around 7 or 8 years old, and he went to the school. And when he went to the school, that time he had an argument with Jagdananda. Jagdananda was one of his schoolmates. He was and they were talking, and then they were arguing, and somehow in that conversation Mahaprabhu Nimai at that time defeated Jagdananda was very upset. He didn't like it, and he did not eat anything, he did not rest. He just went and he sat on the banks of Ganges and started crying. The whole day went by, and he was sitting there and not focused, and he was very upset, very morose. And then towards the end of the day, when the sun was setting, it was getting dark, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Gadadhar Pandit, they both went and looking for Jagdananda. And when they saw him by the side of Ganges, and they told him, what happened, why are you here, it's night time, it's not safe to be here alone. Not because there were any miscreants or anything. They were worried about, there are small pebbles and on the banks, and at night you cannot see. So they were so compassionate. They said, you might end up hurting yourself, so why are you here? So Jagdananda, please come with us. And then they took him to Sachi Mata's house. While walking, that time Nimai was telling Jagdananda, hey Jagdananda, why are you upset? We are friends, we talk, and sometimes we argue, sometimes we disagree. But then when we make up after that, isn't that blissful? Doesn't our love increase? So please don't be upset. So this was basically his compassion for his friend. Jagdananda was none other than Satyabhama from in the pastimes of Lord Krishna. And Satyabhama was one of the queens of Sri Krishna, who had a very short temper, and that's the mellow that they used to enjoy with each other. So the same mellow was being experienced as Mahaprabhu here when Satyabhama came as Jagdananda. Then they went to the house of Mother Sachi, where he just had a handful of puffed rice and he slept. He was very tired, and then 2 hours later, Mother Sachi actually woke him up, gave him some hot milk and hot rice. He again had that and he slept. And then in the morning, Jagannath Mishra came, woke up all of them, and after doing their morning duties, they all went to school. So such wonderful, Ashtakali Leelas they used to keep having, and it was a lot of fun when he was little boy. They just used to hang out like that, and they used to play so many pranks with other people also. So it was actually similar in terms of the relationship that he had with the cowherd boys. That's what they used to have, the fun being with Krishna all the time. And here also, when they were little, they just used to have so much fun being with Mahaprabhu Nimai. So actually all these principal players and Mahaprabhu's Leela, they were eternal associates. Some from Golok, some were the great devotees like Hanuman, because Murari Gupta was Hanuman. Some were, principal devas like Brihaspati and Lord Brahma. They had actually come to join in the pastimes and enjoy the mellow with Mahaprabhu. Now, we are very, very fortunate because in Brahma Vaivarta Puran, in Chaitanya Mangal, and some more scriptures, it was predicted that a devotee will come and spread Krishna consciousness all over the world. And who the devotee for us is? Srila Prabhupada. So Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Maharaj had told Srila Prabhupada that not only will you benefit in spreading the message of the Supreme Lord, but anybody who will help you, your disciples or your grand disciples, they all will benefit from this and will be spiritually blessed. So then Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, before he actually appeared, he had Mother Sachi and Jagannath Mishra. They had 8 children, and all of them had died. So they were very sad, and they performed a special Vishnu puja to get a boy, and that's how they got Vishwarup. Now Vishwarup is none other than incarnation of Sankarshan. So then the second boy they had was Vishwambhar, which is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So this was not a normal conception. So Jagannath Mishra actually one time he had a vision where Chaitanya Mahaprabhu appeared in his mind. And then from his mind he appeared in his heart. And then he was transferred to the heart of Sachi Mata, and he stayed in the body of Sachi Mata till she actually delivered him. So this was a very spiritual conception, just like Mother Devaki and Vasudev. So during her, as her pregnancy proceeded, devas used to come from the celestial planets to pay obeisances and offer prayers to Mahaprabhu, even when he was in the womb of Mother Sachi. And he would, say that, we are devotees from other planets, and nobody could see. Actually, these devas, they were not visible to Mother Sachi, only Mahaprabhu, because they were saying prayers to Mahaprabhu, and Mahaprabhu is Sri Krishna himself, and he's still in the womb. So they would just come and say these prayers that we don't know, we do not want anything, any material blessings from you. We have so much of it already. But we have only two problems. Problem is that sometimes we are attacked by demons and they defeat us from our celestial homes. We defeat them back, but it's a unnecessary fight. And the other thing is that there is so much of sense gratification that we forget about you. So we heard that now in this pastime you will freely give out the love of Krishna. So please do not forget us. We need your mercy. We need love of Krishna so much. And then Lord Chaitanya, he was in the womb, but still he was very naughty. He would, show he would reveal those shadows to Sachi Mata, and then the Sachi Mata she would think that these are some subtle entities, and she would start chanting the Narsimha prayers. And then the Mahaprabhu so he had started all his leelas right from there. Um, so basically they were supposed to be invisible to the humans, and then these devas, they saw, oh, she is able to see us, and then they would quickly escape from there. So like this, so many pastimes happened. And on Gaur Purnima day, basically when he appeared, it was Purnima, so Purnima is the full moon. But why was there a lunar eclipse? So there was actually not an eclipse. It was just that Lord, because one time in Golok Vrindavan, when Radharani and Shri Krishna were having this conversation, that how much um, affection Srimati Radharani felt for Shri Krishna, especially in the mood of separation, and she was saying that you won't be able to understand that, and Shri Krishna was like, no, I want to, and I'm going to appear, I'm going to take a form where I understand this bhav of yours. To understand that bhav of Srimati Radharani, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu appeared. So this is the hidden reason. The external reason, this is the internal reason. The external reason we know, to annihilate the miscreants, and that is to reestablish the principles of religion. So this is the external reason, but the internal hidden reason was that he wanted to experience the bhav of Srimati Radharani. So Srimati Radharani told him, but whenever I'm in that mood of ecstasy, I sometimes faint, and you won't be able to handle that many emotions. So let me cover you with my kanti. My kanti means Mahaprabhu is Gaur-Varn, because Srimati Radharani covers him when he appears as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu with her own skin shade, and that's how he's Gauranga color, right? Gaur-Varn. So, so Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is none other than Krishna and Srimati Radharani combined. So we can imagine how beautiful he would be. Seeing that beauty on the day when he appeared, which is actually Purnima, but it happened to be lunar eclipse, because the moon was shying away, or was rather embarrassed to see the beauty of Mahaprabhu with that golden avatar that he had taken. And that's why he just covered his face. He didn't want to face anybody. And that's how it became the dark night. And also because it's Purnima, because as we know that Shri Krishna appears on Krishna Janmashtami and Srimati Radharani appears on Radha Ashtami, and Ashtami is the mid of the 15 days in the lunar calendar, and it's like half and half. So then it becomes Purnima. So that's how Mahaprabhu chose to come on Purnima, because he is combined form of Srimati Radharani and Krishna. Now, when he appeared, all the people in the Ganges were chanting the names of the Lord. Anything, Govinda, Hare Krishna. Even the Muslims, they were criticizing people that what are they doing, just chanting Hari Bol, Hari Bol. And they were being very sarcastic. But with all this chanting going on everywhere, Srivas Thakur was thinking, eclipse is supposed to be inauspicious, but everyone is chanting the holy name. So this is actually the most auspicious time. In fact, even Advaita Acharya in Shantipur and Haridas Thakur in Fulia, they were also dancing. So everywhere, this they were feeling this great joy. So like that, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came to Sankirtan to spread the Sankirtan, which he started even before he appeared on 18th of Feb 1486. That AD was the date when he appeared. To spread this, so Mahaprabhu, so his purpose was to spread the Sankirtan movement. So Mahaprabhu came to spread this movement, this Sankirtan movement, Harinam, and he gave only 8 verses. He did not write scriptures for all those voluminous scriptures and everything. All his Anunai, all his followers did that. Rupa Goswami, all the Goswamis, all our acharyas, they wrote all those books. But Mahaprabhu, he left only 8 verses with us, which is known by the name of Shishtashtakam. So we'll go one verse, one by one. We'll go and we'll talk about the importance of those 8 verses, followed by a pastime. So first is Cheto Darpan Marjanam Bhav Mahadavagni Nirvapanam Shreya Kairav Chandrika Vitaranam Vidya Vadhu Jivanam Anandam Buddhivardhanam Pratipadam Purnamrita Swadanam Sarvatma Snapnam Param Vijayade Shri Krishna Sankirtanam. I'm going to read the English translation as well. Let there be supreme victory for the chanting of the holy name of Sri Krishna, which cleanses the mirror of the heart and completely extinguishes the blazing forest fire of material existence. Sri Krishna Sankirtan diffuses the soothing moon rays of Bhav, which causes the white lotus of good fortune for the jivas to bloom. The holy name is the life and soul of transcendental knowledge, since Vidya is Sri Nam Prabhu's consort, Saraswati Devi. It continuously increases the ocean of transcendental bliss, enabling one to taste complete nectar at every step. The holy name thoroughly bathes and cools the body, mind, and soul. So, this verse talks about how chanting of the holy name cleanses the dirt of lust, greed, all those anarthas from our heart, and helps us chant the holy name and achieve the goal. You'll understand from the verses that we'll read how chanting leads from purification to the state of prema bhakti. So the last verse is going to talk about the prema bhakti. So how this happens, it cleanses your heart, and you are it talks about how the blazing fire, we are able to survive in this material world just by chanting of the holy name. So based on that, we can think of the pastime of Ajamil. What did Ajamil do? He was not even calling out for Sri Narayan as in the Supreme Lord himself. He was calling out the name of his son, who he had named after the name of the Lord. So knowingly or unknowingly, you call for the name of the Lord and you achieve the goal. This is the mercy of Nama Prabhu. So when he was calling out for Narayan, how he was saved? He was saved by the Yamadutas. that particular incident that happened in his life that gave him another chance. And when the Yamadutas left, he completely surrendered. He gave up his life in chanting of the holy name at the holy place of Haridwar. And when the time for him to leave came, the Vishnu Dutas came and then they took him with them to the holy abode. So this is how chanting of the holy name can purify even a person like Ajamal, who had done so many sinful activities all his life. Then Nam Namakari Bahudanij Sarva Shaktis Tatrarpita Niyamita Smaranena Kalaha Etadrishi Tava Kripa Bhagavan Mamapi Durdeva Midrisham Ihajani Nanuragaha. O Bhagwan, your holy name bestows all auspiciousness upon the living entities. Therefore, for the benefit of the jivas, you eternally manifest your innumerable names such as Rama, Narayan, Krishna, Mukunda, Madhava, Govinda, and Damodar. You have invested those names with all the potencies of their respective forms. Out of causeless mercy, you have not even imposed any restrictions on the chanting and remembrance of such names. Nonetheless, I am so fortunate due to committing offenses that I have no attachment for your holy name, which is so easily accessible and bestows all good fortune. So this talks about the importance of chanting of the holy name in terms of that there is no difference in whatever name of the Lord you chant. So, in Navadvip, after Mahaprabhu, after the Sankirtan started, earlier everybody was busy in their material life, but once Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu started the Sankirtan movement, everybody was joyous and blissful, and they were very, very happy. Why? Because that is the potency of the holy name. So this verse talks about you chant the name of Govinda, doesn't matter what name, Govinda, Rishikesh, Narayan, Mukunda, Madhava. Actually, all these names of Lord doesn't have a name in particular, as in he's Krishna because he's all attractive. The word Krishna means all attractive. Similarly, Mukund is the deliverer of, the one who gives you the liberation is Mukunda, who gives you mukti, right? Then Narayan. Then you have this Govinda, Rishikesh. Rishikesh is the one who controls all the senses. So there is no particular, his names are totally based on his gunas, his qualities, right? So like that, one time I'll tell you what happened was Vibhishan. Vibhishan
जो
to
भी है और फिर फालतू में फिर मैंने कहा कहती है तू तो वहां पे भी जाती है यार। मैंने कहा नहीं माता जी आजकल
can you please
कहती है शाम सुंदरपुर। मैंने कहा माता जी आजकल नहीं जा पा रही सच में
Mataji, can you please
नहीं
mute?
जाऊंगी। पहले प्रभु जी के साथ में थी तो कम से कम आधे 3/4 तो हो जाती थी, अब तो होती ही नहीं रहा था, बस खींचनी पड़ती है। मैं कल से तो पक्के से जाऊंगी।
Hare Krishna, Mataji.
ओ सॉरी माता जी।
Okay, no problem. So then what happened was, where was I? Okay, so Lord Ram. Okay, I'll tell you a pastime about the holy name of Lord Ram. So there were two of the messengers of Vibhishan, and Vibhishan wanted to send some message across to Lord Ram. So he told these two messengers to go and deliver the message to Lord Ram. Now they told Vibhishan, how will we go? There's a huge samudra there. How do we cross the ocean? So he wrote something in a letter, on a piece of paper, and gave it to them. And he said, don't open it. Just take this letter on the shore and say, this letter is going to help us reach Lord Ram. This letter is going to help us cross the ocean. So both the messengers, they were like, okay. They went and they stood there. And then they said, this letter is going to take us to Lord Ram. And lo and behold, the Samudra, the ocean, gave the way. It parted very clearly in two parts, and then they were able to walk. And they were thinking, wow, this is amazing. So after they crossed half of the ocean, one was thinking, what is in this letter? How is it that we were able to cross this? So then the other said, no, 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 dare not open it, because Vibhishan told us not to open it. So then he said, okay, I forget it. Then they reached three-fourths of the ocean. And then, curiosity kills the cat. And they were like, what is in it? Let's see. Then they opened, they saw Ram was written on it. And they were like, that's it? Just Ram? And the whole ocean gave us the name. The moment they thought like this, they doubted the potency of the holy name Ram. The ocean again became the way it was and they drowned. So, this is the power of the holy name. This is what holy name can do. Whatever, in fact, in the same Rama and same Leela, let me tell you another story based on this, the glorification of Lord Ram's name. Lord Ram himself, one time when we know the pastime of when they were making the bridge, and every little living entity was trying to help by writing the name of Lord Ram on the stones and pebbles and throwing in the ocean so that they could build a bridge across. And there Lord Ram was standing there and he was thinking, what is it? What is there in this name Nam, that they're writing Ram and they're putting the stone. Let me see if I put the stone with my name on it and it floats or it doesn't float. So Hanuman was standing there behind watching all this. So Lord Ram wrote the name Ram and he let the stone in the water. But you know what? The stone drowned. It did not float. And Lord Ram was like, wow, what is this? So then Hanuman came from behind and he started laughing. So Lord Ram asked him, what happened? How is it that when you throw the stone with my name on it and it floats, and when I am throwing it, why is it drowning? So then Hanuman said, if the Supreme Personality of Godhead, if you are letting anything go in the water, if you're leaving the association of something, how can that float or how can that be saved? So that is the power of the name, holy name. So, okay, we'll move on to the third verse. Trunadapi sunijena tarorapi sahishnuna amanina manadena kirtanya sadahari. So, thinking oneself to be even lower and more worthless than the insignificant grass which is trampled beneath the feet of all, being more tolerant than a tree, accepting no honor, but offering respect to all others according to their respective positions, one should continuously chant the holy name of Sri Hari. So we know for this how important it is to be humble. Trinadapi Sunichina verse talks more only on the more about the humility aspect of a devotee, a Vaishnav. And for this, actually, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who is Krishna himself, he is the best example for this because he came in the form of a devotee, and when everybody would call him Krishna, he would just close his ears and say, no, Vishnu, 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 because he didn't want to hear. This was his humility. He was trying to set an example. And in his Leela only, the one, not the only, but one of the most humble devotee was Haridas Thakur. We know that he was beaten in 21 marketplaces, but he did not give up chanting the holy name. Now you see, when you walk in a garden full of grass, the grass, we are actually trampling the grass. But in Ayurveda, that says the doctors tell you that if you walk bare feet on the grass, it's going to help early in the early morning. Um, when it is just the dawn. That time when you walk bare feet on the grass, it helps you regain your eyesight or improves your eyesight. What are we actually doing? Trampling the grass. But what is grass doing in return to us? It is helping us improve our eyesight. So you understand that's the humility of the grass. You see the tree is standing, rain or shine. Now, people who cut the tree, for whatever reasons they need to, the axe that they use, even the handle is made of the tree, of the wood, so this is humility. We are treating them whatever, however we want to, but look at they're not protesting. In fact, they are helping us um in whatever way we want them to. So this is humility, and we need, Mahaprabhu is saying, we need to have this quality. Then he's saying, Na dhanam na janam na sundarim kavitam va jagadish kamaye mama janmani janmani ishwari bhavtat bhakti rahitu kitve. O Jagadish, I do not desire wealth, followers such as wife, sons, friends, and relatives, nor mundane knowledge expressed in poetic language. My only desire, O Praneshwar, is that in birth after birth I may have ahatuki bhakti unto your lotus feet. These are the hindrances, dhanam, janam, sundarim. So the more opulent you are, the more away you get from Krishna, because pride comes in. If you have the high birth, in the birth of, say, if we go by the caste system, which is very prevalent these days, people think that if they are born in the Brahmana family, they are of the higher caste. But Mahaprabhu came and said this example, that birth is not the qualification, it is the guna, it's your quality that tells what you are, a Brahmana, a Kshatriya, a Vaishya, or a Shudra. It all depends on your qualities, not your birth. Then, because high class birth, again, you're so puffed up, you think everybody else is below you, and then you can never be close to Krishna, because in the previous verse we understood humility is very, very important. Pride will not take you anywhere. Sundar, in beauty, again, any of the six opulences you see that Krishna has, if uh, people like us, conditioned souls, we cannot have six. Even if we have one, that too not in fullest, because we cannot have in fullest. So whatever we have compared to others, that is going to make us all puffed up, and then we will be away from Krishna. Then for this, we've already, a, a week or two back, we did the pastimes of Raghunath Das, the glories of Raghunath Das Goswami. You remember, if he was the son of a very rich merchant, and they used to have gold coins, and the tax collector gave a tough time to them, and he was the one who said, if you remember, he's the one who started the Pani Hati festival. So he had all the riches in the world, but he was so focused on Krishna that he didn't want any of those. He left everything just to bind him. His parents got him married to a very beautiful girl. So no dhanam, na janam, na sundaram. He didn't want any of that. What was he asking for? He left everything and he took the shelter of Nityanand Prabhu and seeked permission from him to join Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, because what did he want? Mam janmani janmani ishwari bhavtat bhaktir ahatuki. So he wanted the undeviated devotional service unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Moving on to the next verse, then he's saying, Ainanda tanuja kinkaram patitamam vishame bhavambudo kripaya tava pad pankaja sthita duli sadrisham vichintaya. O Nanda Nandan, please be merciful upon me, your eternal servant, fallen in the turbulent ocean of material existence as a result of my fruitive actions. Please consider me as a particle of dust affixed to your lotus feet, and accept me forever as your indentured servant. So here he's talking about who's Nanda Tanuj? Nanda is Nanda Baba, Tanuj means the son, the son of um Nanda Baba. So he's praying to him. So he's, we know the pastime of Yamala Arjuna trees, how by Narad Muni's curse, these sons of Kuvera, they ended up being the trees in the courtyard of Mother Yashoda. And that's when they were, when Krishna was driving the grinding mortar between these two Yamala Arjuna trees, were they delivered. So this is what we want, the dust of the lotus feet of Lord for our deliverance. Then moving on to the next verse, he's saying, Nayanam galadashudharaya vadinam gadgadrudhaya gira pulker nichitam vapukada tavnam grahane bhavishyati. So he's saying, "Oh Lord, when will my eyes be filled with a stream of tears? When will my voice choke up? When will my hairs of my body stand erect in ecstasy as I chant your name?" So when we cry, so the tears are of two kinds. When you're in bliss, the tears are cold. When you're very angry, upset, morose, and you're not happy, and that's when you're crying, you're sad, those tears are hot. So he's saying here that when is he going to experience those ecstatic symptoms? Who did experience these symptoms? Uddhav and also Akrura. You know, when Akrura was sent by Kamsa to get Krishna and Balram. So all along, Kamsa was warned by many people about the faithfulness of Akrura. They were telling him Akrura is on the side of Krishna and Balram. He is not with you. Now Kamsa wanted to test him. When it came to time to get Krishna and Balram to Mathura, he purposely chose Akrura. Akrura to basically first to test him. He thought that if I tell him, why am I asking Krishna and Balram to come here? And if he is faithful to them, he's not going to bring them. But that was not the case. Akrura was definitely faithful to Krishna and Balram, but he knew that they were the Supreme Lord, and he knew that whatever they did is whatever Kamsa wanted to do is not going to harm them. In fact, ever since Krishna and Balram had appeared, Akrura had a great desire to go and see them. But out of fear of Kamsa, he had controlled. He never went there. Now, when Kamsa told him that he wants to kill them, that was his plan in his mind, and he told this very clearly to Akrura. Akrura still did not hesitate. He thought it's okay, he can think whatever he wants to, but he used this as an opportunity to go and see Krishna Balram. Now, when he reached from Mathura to Vrindavan is hardly 30-40 minutes, not more than that. But it took him a day, one full day. Why? Because everywhere he would stop and he would start visioning Krishna Balram, and he would sing their glories. He will roll in the dust of Vrindavan, and it took him so long to reach there because he had started developing those ecstatic symptoms just by the thought that he was going to see them. Even Uddhav, when he was sent by Sri Krishna to Vrindavan, and when he saw the loving exchanges, the reciprocation of gopis, the love of gopis, he could not believe. It was very hard for him to he actually started having those ecstatic symptoms then. So in this verse he's saying, when will I have those ecstatic symptoms just by the name of it? When somebody takes your name and I'm going to be so ecstatic, when is then that going to happen? Moving on to the next verse. Yugayitam nimishena chakshusha pravrishayitam shunyayitam jagat sarvam govinda virahena me. O Sakhi, in separation from Govinda, even a moment seems like a millennium. Tears begin to shower from my eyes like rain from the clouds, and this entire world seems void. So we can very clearly understand from this verse it's talking about the separation that gopis felt. So when they were in that mood of separation, even a moment would appear like a yuga to them. So if you remember, we had covered this also last a few weeks back, that Krishna used to spend the daytime with the gopas and the night time with the gopis. So these gopis, they used to pray to Chandra Sarovar, and the gopas would pray to the moon god in the Chandra Sarovar that please, can you set little early so that sun can rise and we can have darshan of our beloved friend, and vice versa. The gopis would go and pray to the sun god that please can you set a little early, can you let the moon rise so that we can have a little extra time with our beloved Lord. So this is how it was with for them, both of them. Even a moment separation would appear as yoga to them. So then moving on to the last verse. आश्लिष्यवपाद्रतं पेनाष्टु मामादर्शनं मर्महतं च करोतु वा यथा तथा वा विदधातु लम्पटो मत्प्राणाथस्तु स एव नापरा. Let Krishna tightly embrace this maid servant who's attached to the service of his lotus feet and thus make me his own very own. Oh, let him break my heart by not being present before me. He is a debauchee and he can do whatever he likes. Even if he covers with other lovers directly in front of me, he is still my Prananath. I have no other than him. So the prem stage was the sixth verse. Now this is the bhav stage. Bhav stage means, when you're in that bhav, you don't care about the Lord's reciprocation to you. All you want to do is serve him. Just serve him for the pleasure of the Lord. In return, he's doing something or not, doing anything for you. That is not of your concern. One time we remember when Narad Muni, he came looking for the dust of the lotus feet of the pure devotee because Krishna was having a headache. All the devotees he went to, starting from Yudhishthir Maharaj, they all refused. But when he came to gopis, he said, can I have the dust of your lotus feet? He's having a headache and he says only the dust of the lotus feet of his devotee, pure devotee, can cure it. They were like, sure, how much do you want? And Narad Muni was like, are you not scared? If the dust of your lotus feet is put on his forehead, you're going to go to hell. They were like, that's fine. We'll go to hell. At least he'll be okay. He'll be fine. So this was the unconditional love that they had. Even in pastimes of Mahaprabhu, there was a devotee by the name of Mukunda Datta. He was, for some reason, he was associating with Mayavadis, and Mahaprabhu came to know. He was actually with both. He would listen to Mayavadis also, and he would listen to Mahaprabhu also. And Mahaprabhu found out that he was listening to Mayavadis, and he got really, really upset. And he said, I don't want to see him. And then when his Mahaprakash Leela was going on, and that time when Mukunda Datta said, can I see Mahaprabhu? So Mahaprabhu sent a messenger telling him that, tell Mukunda Datta, I will not see him before 100,000 years. And Mukund was in ecstasy. He was jumping. He was very happy. Oh, my Lord is going to see me. Everybody was like, 100,000 years is a lot of years. But he was like, at least he agreed to see me. So he was ready to go through that separation for that many years with just this ray of hope that he will see me. So that's the love and affection that Mahaprabhu spread, and people used to just look at him and get drawn to him. And these are the actually what Mahaprabhu was making it so much easy, for us, because in this age of Kali, we cannot read scriptures, for that many hours, the way the earlier, so based on that, I'll tell you a story. So there was a king. This king, it's not a story, it's a true story from Padma Puran. So this king, he wanted to know the essence of the Vedas. So he told his ministers, these Vedas are a lot, I cannot read them, but I want to know the essence of it. Can you summarize it for me? They said, okay. They wrote 150 pages and brought to him. He said, 150 pages? I don't have time. Can you make it 50? So they said, okay. And then they made into 50. And then he saw 50 and he said, this is too much. Please, a page or two. Now they were really confused what to do. How do you summarize the whole thing into a page or two? Still, so what they did, like in math, we have the formulas, so it's a condensed form of the actual expression, mathematical expression, right? Like a plus b square is a square plus 2ab plus b square. So like that, they condensed the entire Vedas into sutras. Sutras are the formulas. he read that. Now if you tell me a plus b whole square is what, I will be wondering what will it be. I won't even understand what does it mean, a square plus 2ab plus b square. How did I reach there? So this king thought, he said, no, this is beyond me, I cannot understand this. So he said, you know what, he told his Rajarishis, he said, no, you just give me in one sentence what is he trying to, what is the essence of Vedas. So then they told them a verse which meant what was the gist of it? Always remember Krishna and never forget Krishna. So that's exactly what Mahaprabhu did. He told us to always remember Krishna. How? By satatam kirtanam. How? By chanting all the time. Chanting is the key. If you understand the 9 processes of devotional service, the first one is Shravanam, Kirtanam. So you hear what you chant. Even Rupa Goswami used to say that, give me thousands of, oh Lord, give me thousands of tongues and thousands of ears so that I can chant with 1,000 tongues and hear with those 1,000 ears what you're saying, because that is what leads to perfection. And Mahaprabhu came to give us this in this Kali Yuga. This is the Sankirtan is the Yuga Dharma. So, and who came to give us this Sankirtan? Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who is none other than Krishna himself. So all glories to Mahaprabhu. Tomorrow being Mahaprabhu's appearance day, my humble request to all of you is that please chant as much as you can. You fast in whatever level, whatever capacity you can, but please be in a prayerful mood. Please chant and continue chanting. So
yes, tomorrow I'm not eating.
Oh,
I'm eating Ekadashi only.
Very nice. So however your health permits you, so you can offer that as a sacrifice and as an offering to Mahaprabhu. That'll be nice. But do chant. Chanting is very important. That's what he came to give us, because we are so dull-headed in this time in Kali Yuga, we won't be able to understand the Vedas the way that king was not able to understand. So we'll always remember Krishna, never forget Krishna by chanting the holy name. Okay? So we'll end here. If anyone has any questions, we can take.
Nobody has any questions.
Okay, so then we'll end here, and happy God Purnima to all of you.
Happy God Purnima.
Thank you. So then I will see you next Wednesday.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
I'm doing Ekadashi tomorrow.
Very nice.